Hello and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We are here for you guys. We're recapping the motherfucking Last Dance, episodes 7 and 8. We got
The
a little
most
bit,
emotional
dude.
episodes yet.
My favorite ones. I think they were the best ones. Honestly, I don't know. The last few weeks were okay, but these were fucking. This is like what I wanted the whole series to be like.
The
where it was just
Father's
like,
Day thing with Heavy. And
Yeah, the Father's
you know
Day.
when they were talking about the Father's Day episode and they were like, what kind of monster would link Jordan to his own father's death? And then I remembered our episode with Ryan Shutt. And I thought, shit, we might have missed steps right there.
We should have had Shut back on to have the case, to plead the case. I would have loved for they have all these like legitimate people. They have fucking, Stern, they have everyone from the media, they have Jordan. And then I would have just loved just some fucking guy who just did like mushrooms. It was just like, or just some fucking conspiracy theorist guy that's like, oh yeah, no, 100%. The mafia killed his dad. Jordan was in on it. Jordan tipped them off. I would have loved it. That would have been so
It's
good.
crazy. I remember the play now when Jordan came back. Because I remember that when he comes back from baseball and he had that kind of shitty game against the Pacers.
The Pacers, yeah.
It was like my two most hated teams going head to head. I had no horse in the race.
Right.
And then remembering that series against Orlando when Jordan got his pocket picked, I was like, fuck. I forgot how weird that looked.
Totally. I mean, it's complete. It's not only weird, it's been like sanitized from the record. It's like you totally forget about it.
You can't find footage.
It's almost like, I mean, until you sit and think about it, it's like, oh yeah, like it's just, yeah, because you think three-peat, you think 3 in a row retire, 3 in a row. But yeah, he has that weird season. And, who knows what happens if there's no baseball strike? Like maybe he plays baseball.
Maybe he works his way up to the major leagues and becomes like a utility player.
He would have. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, that was also fascinating. So, yeah, just in general, I loved these episodes. I thought, obviously the death of his father is such a fucking, like, landmark portion of his story. I think hinting at the fact that he was going to retire anyway just shows how hard the motherfucker, burned the candle. He's just like, there's no stopping for him. I mean, that was probably what I think he was 9 seasons in when he retired, this is not today. Like today, you could see some, like, you wouldn't be shocked if you heard some player like, I mean, football players are starting to do it all the time now because of fucking
but that's
brain damage
football,
and shit.
dude. If LeBron retired at like what 30 or 32, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, you would totally be like, what the fuck? But you'd also be like, if I could see some player being like, it's just not right. Like if Kyrie retired, like it's just not right for my journey, my mental health.
Right.
There's at least some kind of feasible thing. But back then, for the greatest player who fucking gets off on this shit to retire,
it's not Kyrie. Right?
It's not Kyrie. For sure it's not Kyrie, but it's just like, it's so unheard of. It's like so wildly unheard of. And the minor leagues is such a fascinating aspect. And then obviously what I love the most is, we finally, this is the only episode, I don't remember which, I watched them together. I've done this thing where I let them, it was steak night at the apartment. I fucking broiled up a couple steaks for the boys. We paused and we let the DVR catch up so we could fast forward through that shit.
Hell yeah.
So it's all melded together into one big episode for
As they should be. It should all be like one.
Yeah.
Like 10 parts, just one thing.
For sure. But I love that we actually got to see him actually for real be a fucking piece of shit to his teammates. Like he really is a fucking villain. In a real sense. In a way that it's like, I wanted more of that, dude. I wanted that the whole fucking time. I mean, I know.
Yeah, but how much is he a part of this series if it's more than one episode?
And dude, that's what really, the longer this has gone on, the more that's, I guess the one disappointing thing is that like, it's so clear now that this is just like, this is Jordan's like legacy, like rejuvenation tool. Like this is not, it's like it's state-sponsored media on some level. It's like Kim Jong-un releasing a fucking documentary about how awesome Kim Jong-un is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like...
Either way, Rodman's grabbing the boards.
Yeah, Rodman's in it one way or the other. But having said all that, this episode was really fucking... these episodes were great because you show him being a fucking piece of shit, being a fucking
Yeah.
asshole, dude. I mean, the stories of his
Agreed.
of his like the little slights. I mean, you see what a lunatic he is. And I mean, there's just that that whole montage of his teammates. Was he nice? And no one says yes. Like no one.
Yeah, but
Everyone's
the
like,
best
no.
he can get is BJ Armstrong going, he couldn't have been nice. And you're like, all right, he's an asshole.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I love everyone who's like just sucking Jordan off. And obviously he is the greatest. And he's like, you know, arguably the absolute greatest ever. And he's certainly the greatest in his era. And like 6 championships is real, but God damn, the man is a fucking piece of shit. Like he seems like such an asshole.
And
He
fucking
seems like
how
such an
about
asshole.
how about Will Perdue looking like David Wallace from The Office now?
Yeah, I know.
He really looks like he's coming down from corporate to be like, Michael, this is not how we talk.
I know. Everyone is sort of the only one who looks like a fucking. Everyone seems kind of corporate except for what's his name? With the Fu Manchu.
Weddington.
Yeah. He's the only one that looks like him and his wife swing. Weddington looks like he puts on a little fucking leather newsboy cap and watches his wife get railed out.
Some guy in Chicago, he just opens the door. He's like, "Are you fucking Bill Weddington?" He's like, "Are you gonna jerk off to my wife or not?" He's like, all right, fine. Let me go in.
Look, pal. Fuck my wife or get the hell out. This isn't a memorabilia signing, okay? He's just fucking playing with his nipples.
Dude, to me, one of the craziest parts is, so Jordan's like down in the minor leagues and he's like, I just wanted to be like one of them. And you're like, and everyone's like, the fact that he bat 202 is a miracle. I'm like, yeah, but that's not good. Like,
yeah.
Like the fact he's like, look, we were a team, we had fun together. Like, yeah, but dude, these minor leaguers are making shit money and you're still rolling up in a limo and you're the worst player on the team.
Yeah.
That's got to be. It is like when a celebrity is like, I'm going to start doing stand up. And you're like, all right. God. I mean,
yeah.
I do want to hang out with you.
Jeremy Piven bumped me.
Piven with the cameo.
Dude, get that man. Who is that man's agent, dude? This man is popping up right after some Me Too stuff. He's like, yeah, let's get him in the most watched thing of all time. And also, by the way, he did have the cameo, but why? I don't understand why everyone was like, I guess Ari, like it's a character, but that way he didn't play
he's
a
Chicago
agent.
guy. He's a Chicago guy. That's why. Yeah, those Second City. I mean, dude, I just gave Grosse Point Blank a little rewatch. Holds up hard.
Really? Haven't seen it.
Never seen it? HBO, man. John Cusack, fucking funny movie, man. He's a hitman going to his high school reunion. I say give it a fucking. It's a Dan Aykroyd, Hank Azaria. Funny.
Here's what I've started doing. I've started because like to keep myself sane, I just have to have something to do every day. So we record our basketball podcast. I like write on Tuesdays. Fucking Wednesday I do whatever. I have like everything but Saturday, and I'm just taking edibles and watching 3 movies.
Dude, I'm taking edibles. I started.
Yeah, there we go. This is big for our relationship. Sam.
It's only a matter of time, when you're in California, before you start just hitting a dispensary.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I'm taking edibles and sparkling grapefruit, sparkling pear, sparkling. They sparkle. I don't know what they do. But they get you fucked up though.
Absolutely, big time. So I'm gonna throw Grosse Point Blank in one of my triple features.
It's great. This week, it's just a fun movie.
You know what I watched this week? I watched The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original.
Ooh, I heard it's good.
Really fucking good.
Shouts out to Jerry Stiller.
R.I.P. the King, dude. I fucking love Jerry Stiller.
I was watching Seinfeld last night I was watching episodes with him in it. It's brutal.
Yeah. No, it sucks. He's always the funniest guy. Whenever he's on screen, he's the funniest guy on screen.
Oh, dude, and George's mom too. Their scenes just like
awesome.
They were both just gold all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, King of Queens is like I stand by King of Queens. He's great in that. It's a really, as far as those sitcoms go, it's fucking solid. I mean, I was watching like just some of his best lines, just like a compilation, and it's like that man. You can give him dog shit, like just the worst like sitcom bullshit writing, and he crushes it. It's just like he's
gold. He's gold, man. Yeah. Even Zoolander or like anything he's in is just killer.
Yeah. Damn, I might watch Zoolander again too.
Grosse Point
Blank, Zoolander.
Grosse Point Blank, I think you'll like it. It's fun, man.
Yeah.
I also watched a Cusack double feature. We watched the Love and Mercy. Fucking solid, man. Beach
haven't
Boys
seen it.
movie. God damn.
Sorry,
Brian
yeah.
Wilson had a fucked up life.
Yeah.
That guy, like, he hears voices in his head, and you're like, all right, well, at least they're not like murder voices, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh no, but it made you insane.
Right.
He's like a half a schizo or something.
Right. At least there are do acid voices. Get on the beach and do a little acid.
Well, it's crazy because Mike Love of the Beach Boys, is he Kevin Love's uncle or dad, or what's the connection?
Really? I have
They're
no
related,
idea.
dude.
Oh
They're
my God.
And he's the guy everyone hates. He was the
Hell
guy who's
yeah.
like, we need more mainstream Beach Boys songs.
That's
He's
so
like,
good.
more Surfing USA, less Good Vibration.
Yeah. That's so fucking good. Anyway, we should also mention we do have a guest coming on to help us recap. You know, we wanted to give you a little couple 10 minutes with the boys, just a little bit, pull a little bit of the tip out. We played just the tip with the fellas, and now we're gonna have a guest join us. Really funny comedian, super great. We're happy. Chicago guy out in LA now, but he's great. So we're gonna have Andrew Santino hop on here.
Excited for this one.
And get on the pod with us.
Yeah.
You're a Chicago guy. This is like got to be heaven for you.
Dude, it is heaven for me. It's fun. I mean, the coolest moment for me was everyone getting to know how much shit Jordan talks. It's fun. I don't think a lot of people knew that he was a shit talker. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a basketball fan, you knew, but I think Americans don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, people they know Michael Jordan. They know Michael Jordan as this symbol, this icon, but like as a kid, like I thought it was the coolest shit when you learned that he was like was running his mouth all the time. I thought that was the greatest. Yeah. Like calling your teammates a hoe is the dopest thing I've ever heard.
Called Scott Burrell a hoe, and he's off the court. He's wearing like pleated fucking khakis.
Yeah.
To be called a hoe by a man dressing like a fucking accountant just hurts, dude.
Dude, my wife goes. Because she, again, like it's fun to watch it with her. I imagine it's like when a dad takes his kid to Disneyland and he gets to relive it through his kid. You know, me watching this with her is so fucking great because she'll be like, yo, his pants are fucking crazy big. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah. She never knew. Like she had no reference. I was like, yeah, this motherfucker dressed always like an MC Hammer video. Even up till the like mid 2000s. Like it's not like it ended in the 90s.
I think if anything, it picked up steam. Like now he's transitioned into this weird, like he's wearing like that weird, I don't know what, he dresses like his suitcase got lost on vacation now, where it's just like, like in Cabo, he's got that little fucking necklace. He's wearing like workout gear up top and like big pants down below.
Yeah, he's
hilarious now.
He looks like he had to buy everything when he got to the place he was going.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And his eyes are yellow for some reason now. We're like, this, I don't know what drug you're on. I don't know what.
It's so funny because my instinct is like, how racist do I sound when I literally, my wife was like, why is his eyes so like red and yellow? And my instinct, I go, Black people have a lot of predispositions to like cataracts and all this shit. Yeah. I'm automatically like giving my medical opinion as a idiot.
A Black professional athlete with $1 billion. He's not just a drunk.
Burrell, but it's weird. Scott Burrell really, like every player is like, he was just a good guy. And I guess like to play with Jordan, you had to be kind of an asshole. And it just seemed like Scott Burrell, like I remember he dropped like 14 a game for Charlotte. Like he had game.
So he had game, but I'll say this: I think the proof is in the pudding with a guy like Jordan. Unfortunately, I agree with this process because Burrell was a guy that never like pushed back, and I think Jordan was just trying to test these guys to see who was pushbackable. And like, if you were someone who, you know, maybe this is like an old school, my dad's influence in my fucking brain of like, if you're not tough, your loss percentage is higher. Like you just have to be tough because when you lose, you have to be stronger than the loss. And a guy like Burrell always felt like he would just get shook. I just think like when you're soft in what used to be the old NBA, you would just get shook all the time. You know, like I don't know what happens today because the league is so different now, but like you could tell, like, look at fucking why he hates Isaiah Thomas. Like Jordan hates Isaiah because of them walking out, but it's also because like Isaiah and those guys used to fucking shit on them constantly. I mean, it would like and if you were a weak person, that would have, which what it did to the rest of the league, they dominated the East because they were fucking they manhandled people.
Yeah.
So I think Jordan wanted to see his mental toughness more than his physical toughness. And I just think Scott got rolled on a lot because that's not his personality trait.
Right.
But Jordan fed off of people that were fucking, I mean, dude, Scotty is a quiet killer. Like, people don't know.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen or Scott Burrell, you mean?
Scottie Pippen. Pippen was a fucking, Pippen has this soft, deep voiced, slow, like, I'm really calm. But like, the truth is, he used to beat the shit out of his girlfriend in one of my mom's buildings in Chicago. So it's like,
that's not the toughness we're going for per se in the NBA.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Pippin's soft speech when Phil is like, "Are you in or are you out?" I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah, I love that shit.
For that huge play.
So do you guys blame him for that?
For the way he treated Burrell?
No. I was jumping when you said about when he told Phil that he was out. Do you blame him for sitting?
Yeah, I do. He should have gotten the ball, but also like Phil called for Kukoc to get the ball. He made the shot. You got to listen to your coach, man. Yeah, I blame him.
I agree, but I also think
I see where he's coming from. I mean, I don't know that I would have done it, but I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have sat, but I will say this. I think if he wanted to be like a real champion and be regarded as kind of like a Jordan-esque asshole, he would have just taken them as an aside and gone up to Kukoc and been like, "I'm getting the ball. You're giving."
Well, he was supposed to inbound. That's the thing, though.
But if he wanted to be a true leader, you see these guys, they just tell their coach suck dick and they go do it anyway. Like at the end of the day, the coach is just a guy giving you what he thinks is his opinion and suggestion for the best play. But so many of these superstars, they just disregard the coach. And Russell Westbrook hasn't had a coach since he entered the league. These guys are going to do what they're going to do. So I think he would have gotten more respect if he just pulled Tony and everyone aside and been like, "Hey man, I'm getting the ball. I don't give a fuck what Phil says. You're getting me the fucking ball."
Right.
And they would have done it.
There's
that's
no
how
way
you end
Jordan.
Up Carmelo Anthony, though. That's how you run like D'Antoni out of town when you just don't listen to their plays. You can't do that to Phil Jackson.
It's true. I agree, but like fucking, Scotty never got the respect he wanted, and that made it even worse.
The reason I totally know what you mean. I think on some level it would have been hard to just completely steamroll it, especially when you're the inbounds man. Yeah. I mean, and shouts out to that guy. I don't remember who it was. Like, Phil just put the guy in, but imagine being that guy. You're like, oh, I hope we fucking score here.
Keep something, right?
You're riding the bench, and then it's like,
this is. I know that team like the back of my hand. I didn't recognize that name when.
Yeah. Imagine being that asshole and just thinking, "Ooh, boy, I hope we win." And then it's like, oh, actually, you have to throw the inbounds pass. You haven't played a meaningful minute in the whole playoffs, but you're going to go ahead and throw the biggest pass of the game.
Tony Kukoc has embedded himself in my heart as one of my favorite Bulls in retrospect. Like back then I was always like, I liked Tony just fine, but like now watching his attitude towards it, it's so funny and innocent how he's like, I don't know why everyone hates me. I just
Oh dude, he was pissed. I was reading Playing for Keeps, and Kukoc went from being like the fucking pride. Like this guy, everywhere at every level, they worshipped him because he's from some fucking, little village, and it's like he's the best in every level. And then he just fucking comes here, and he's so pissed whenever anyone yelled at him. He was like a fucking spoiled little kid. Yeah. Where he could not take being yelled at. He was like,
well, even the year that Jordan's not there, he's the fourth guy because they had Armstrong, Horace Grant, and Pippen all-stars.
They all made the All-Star, which I'm.
But
he
was a good
BJ
player
Armstrong
though.
Made the All-Star.
Dude,
BJ could play.
I love that they. I love that they showed Horace's transition to the Magic. And like, I remember when he went to the Magic, and I also remember thinking, damn, this motherfucker got like a fire lit under him when he went to Orlando. It's almost as like he found a new lease on basketball. It was really weird. Like you don't see that often at that part in their career when you're like, something happened in Orlando that just made him like turn the fuck on. Crazy.
He hated playing with Jordan. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, and Jordan hated him. Like they did not fuck with each other. Grant and Pippen were boys. Like they got drafted the same year. I read that they bought the same fucking car. They bought like matching Mercedes. Like, and then they were each other's. Yeah, just like dumbass little kids getting $1 million contracts. And they just like went out and fucked together. Like they were just like scumbags together. Horace Grant has become he's won a place in my heart, dude. Because he leaves. He wins 3 chips. then he leaves, gets $2 million more from the Magic than the Bulls were going to give him, and then he eliminates Jordan. Like no one's ever done that. Like,
but he admits that it was like Jordan at like 8 instead of normal Jordan, you know?
Yeah. But you know what? That was annoying to me too, because yeah, I know, he's coming back and everything, but he fucking averaged 30 points. Like, he wasn't a fucking bum. It wasn't like
no, but the team was already in disarray. The
biggest issue was Horace wasn't there. They didn't have that power forward. It wasn't Michael. It was
but he was getting tired. They showed him getting like he didn't have the stamina.
This is when it goes back to it being a little bit of a Jordan hagiography, bro. This is when it comes back to being like a little too much of like state TV, where it's like, yeah, he did lose. The man lost once. You know what I mean? But they were like, my dad died and I was tired, and it's like, just God forbid you lose one time, bro. It's fine.
Yeah, the Knicks beat the Bulls in '93, man. That was the one time we got. It took us 7 games without Jordan, but we got one.
Yeah, you did. But we still know how that story ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Somebody yesterday. So me and Andrew Schultz had done a podcast, and we were joking around. And obviously, it's like you can't say anything on a fucking podcast without someone taking it beyond literal anymore.
Right.
And I had said that I prefer my basketball players black. Like he made a joke that said, he goes, "You don't like white rappers." And I said, "That's not true. I prefer my rappers just like my athletes black. It's just a preference that I have."
Yeah.
And we made fun of the fact that the greatest ball players of all time will always be black. I mean, there's great white ball players, and someone was like, "Oh, are you forgetting Larry Bird? Are you forgetting?" And they're naming all these white ball players. I'm like, no, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying the best I'll ever see are black.
They're going to be black. Yeah. There's no way around it.
No, what do you want? Like, and people kept throwing me people. They go, "Did you forget about John Stockton?" And just to troll them, I would just go 0 rings. I just kept writing 0. just to troll. It's like, dude, of course I know John Stockton was the greatest assist man of all time. Like, I understand the wealth and the worth of some of these dudes, but like, people were just Jason Williams got thrown at me. I was like,
no, come on. And there's no bigger white chocolate fan than me, but
he's not one of the best of all time.
Not even close. No, he's just a fun guy.
He was great. Yeah. He was a great ad. Oh, also, I wanted to tell you guys this. So another thing, my wife didn't know about the murder. He didn't know. She had no idea his dad was murdered. She thought he just died.
Oh, shit.
That was really interesting, because I was like, I want to know what's your take on what they put out on the show? Because I will give them credit. They did talk about the conspiracies that people were like, because by the way, as a Chicago kid, I bought into the conspiracies.
Hell yeah.
He got his dad killed. Gave away the money. Here's what I'll say. Here's the only thing I'll say. I'm sure it's not his fault, and I don't want to, whatever, but
great start. I'm sure it's not his fault, but it's a great start.
Yeah, but it's a little weird.
Super weird.
That a guy falls asleep at a rest stop in my dad's from North Carolina, dude. North Carolina is for lack of a better way, it's a pretty safe place in the idea that like that kind of stuff doesn't happen like that. Like, people don't get like murdered and their bodies dumped in the water during a robbery. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
This wasn't like a what do they call it? Premeditated thing. It's like 2 young 18-year-old kids that rob an old guy. Why wouldn't you just beat the shit out of him?
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So I just.
This is why Andrew's not a lawyer. He's like, Your Honor, why won't you just beat this old man?
If I was the lawyer for those 2 kids, I'm like, Your Honor, obviously the old man fought back. They had to kill him. But like, no, I think there was something fishy about the whole
thing. Are those
there.
kids alive? What happened to them? Because if they're dead, then I'm all in that it was a fucking conspiracy theory.
No, they're alive. They both got charged with 2nd-degree murder.
See, them being alive is the one thing where I'm like, well, it wasn't the mafia.
Okay, but here's another conspiracy thing. There was a lot of articles at the time that were coming out about. I know, I'm all in on it.
No, I love
it. You can look up a bunch of articles about these 2 kids. You're also talking about a time. This is 1994.
Yeah.
Or it was the end of 93. End of 93. I think it was.
Yeah.
But you're talking about like a big, huge lapse in like the criminal justice system as far as like technology and forensics. There's no cameras, like cell phones aren't a thing. Right. So there's also a lot of conspiracy that's out there that these 2 guys aren't actually the guys that killed him anyway. Because here's what's interesting. They had this whole story Jordan himself in the documentary was like, we backtraced his steps, right? He always would go down to Wilmington to play golf with his buddies or hang out. And he said he probably got sidetracked. So he would do this a lot where he would just go get lost for a day at a time, which also was a little sus. I was like, what? He would be like, bye, babe. I'll see you in 4 days. Like,
which maybe might mean Jordan's dad is like one of the most original cheaters of all time. That's a real Mad Men move. Like, babe, I'm on one of my little trips. Don't give me a call. I'll see you when I see you.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You crazy
getting headed
clam.
some log cabin in North Carolina.
It sounded so weird and suspect to like. For him to go away for a while and then on top of that for them to retrace it, and they said that they go, he was asleep and they robbed him and he got aggressive and then they killed him and they threw his body in the river. It's like, unless they got a confession on these guys, which they never talked about, never came out in the media that these guys had a confession, how did they piece that story together? How? It's not like there was no tire marks to a rest stop. It's concrete. So how did they know that that's where the car was stolen from when he died? That's what I don't understand. They talked, there was no witnesses. They somehow this story came together and I don't get how. Jordan his dad couldn't have vouched for it. There was no other witnesses that came forward. So what, these two kids just admitted all that shit? I don't know, man.
I don't like that. It's possible. I don't buy that David Stern pushed him out. That is
that's bullshit. No, that was bullshit.
David Stern, if they caught Jordan getting like fucking children, he would have been like, "All right, Michael, we got to get these kids out of here. Who knows about this?" Like David Stern would have had anyone that knew he was a pedophile murdered
for sure.
Before
David Stern is he's Sidney Pollack and Eyes Wide Shut. He's like, just fucking get a carpet.
They're calling fucking the wolf from fucking.
David Stern is like, hey man, I know this guy Epstein. Go to his island for a little while.
Cool off.
Just
chill out. The island. Get it out of your system. Come back in 6 months.
Now, of course, David Stern had nothing to do with suspending his. And the guy who wrote Rare Air said it on there. You know, the guy, the author of that book, Rare Air, which is one of my favorite fucking books, he was like, why would a fucking capitalist give away his largest financial asset? That's the dumbest shit on earth. But I will say, I do think conversation was had between Jordan and Stern and Reinsdorf, and was like, hey, I need to get away, but I don't know where to go. And I guarantee you that was a strategic move to continue getting revenue to the franchise, because he owned the Sox and the Bulls. So it was like, that was not a happy accident. That was how can we keep him entertained in the Chicago sports system revenue-wise? And because my wife said this too, if he was that distraught that he had to leave basketball, why did you go play another professional sport?
I don't know. That looked kind of fun. I got to be honest. That makes sense to me.
What isn't fun about playing basketball to him? It's the love of his life.
It's over. And also,
but I think it's boredom.
I buy baseball as meditation for him. It's like a connection to his father, even if he did have him killed. Even if it was like, I do believe, like, you know, you just go. It's your first sport. Yeah, it's guilt ball. It's like, he's hoping for some Field of Dreams stuff. Maybe his dad will come back in a cornfield.
I also think there's some part of him that, like, you just three-peated. When's the last time someone did a three-peat? Magic didn't do it. Bird didn't do it. Isaiah didn't do it, right?
No, he's the first.
So you know, I
guess
get
the fucking
why he wants.
Celtics.
Back
so no bitch-ass
day.
Boston fans get mad. Your team did it against fucking mechanics.
It was in black and white. Calm down. It was a long time ago.
Guys who were smoking on the court.
We're going to have to take a break here. It seems a cigar got on the net. Maybe catch fire.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's so cool. So who was the best player once Jordan left? Hakeem? You lose the best player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Certainly no one is fucking marketable. I mean, the Shaq, Penny, Magic are fun. Hakeem is probably the best player, but he's not, you know, he's just like an older guy who just fucking shows up, does it, you know, never really had that many.
Yeah, there wasn't really anybody else that had that kind of attention even. Like no one was, and Shaq was still such a young buck that like, And Penny too, which is funny about that documentary, is like they talked about the Magic a little bit. They brushed really quickly over Penny, which I think he's such a great story, man. I think he's one of those guys to me. He's such like he's like a Ken Griffey, where I think Penny was fucking incredible, but he just kind of he's now lumped into this short-lived a run in pro sports, that he was phenomenal when he was there, but he'll never kind of be mentioned as much as he should.
Yeah, it's tough. He's one of the classic what if injury guys. I mean, it's
sucks.
And especially because of, the era that he came up in. I mean, as Chicago, D Rose is like that too. I mean, Derrick Rose.
Don't get me started, man. I'll start crying right here.
Yeah, that's
but dude, Penny Hardaway, like, you tell a young kid now, it's like, that's Ben Simmons with a jump shot.
Right.
Yeah.
He was fucking incredible.
Yeah, he was absolutely fucking incredible. Also, I didn't learn until I was probably like 18 that his name was Anthony, not Anthony.
That fucking rules. Anthony on a fucking legal document is fucking incredible.
Dude, it was the same way as a Chicago kid. Ryan Sandberg is one of our greatest Chicago Cubs of all time, but his name is spelled Ryan, R-Y-N-E, not R-Y-A-N.
That's hysterical.
And when I got his autograph, that was the first time I was like, this motherfucker spelled his name wrong. Like,
baseball players are fucking stupid.
And they are, by the way. They are the dumbest athletes, without a doubt.
Easy money.
They're the easiest.
Who's your favorite post Jordan Bull? Is it Derrick Rose?
Probably, because Jimmy Butler I had a huge problem with.
Didn't like him even then?
No, it wasn't that. It was interesting. So my childhood best friend went to Marquette, so I oddly had a look at some of these guys prior to them getting to the league, which was weird. We used to go watch games at Marquette, and
you ever watch Dwayne Wade?
Yeah, dude, it was incredible.
Awesome.
I mean, it was like that was kind of like my entry to some of those guys, to really falling in love with them, because knowing college basketball on TV is different than going to see them play live. There's something about it that's like, pros on TV tend to match up to how you see them live. I mean, it's obviously better live, but college ball players, sometimes it takes you to see them live to go, holy fuck, that guy's incredible. I don't know why there's this imbalance, but
interesting.
It has a lot to do with the way that they structure offense in college. You know what I mean? It's because college is so not a one-on-one game that defense sometimes seems impenetrable, and you can only see, when you see that live, how good someone is at breaking down zones, then you're like, that guy's going to be a fucking dope pro athlete.
Right.
But I think Butler was kind of a brat at Marquette, and I never really thought he was that fucking dynamic. And then when he got to the league, he kept sucking his own dick for so many years that I couldn't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to get behind a guy who touts themselves being better than everyone says they are, and then not really proving it. You're like, You're good, but you're not as great as you think. Otherwise you'd have proved it by now. Instead of backing with complaints. I don't like that you just complain about structure and management and team organization and coaches. It's like, at some point it's you, bro. At some point you're not as great as you think. I mean,
I think Jimmy is an interesting case, because he's definitely not like top 10 in the league, but he's close though. You know what I mean? Like
he's a top 20 ball player. Yeah, for sure.
And he
two-way, yeah.
And it's also like, but you have to give him credit for making himself out of almost nothing. Like,
totally. I know the McDonald's
most improved, all that
stuff.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because think about how Jordan would behave though. That's the thing. It's like, that's what's interesting about seeing this. It's like, he's a fucking piece of shit. Like, Jordan's a dick in this, like, especially in seven, where it's like, me and Sam were talking about it a little bit earlier, where all his teammates are like, was he a nice guy? And everyone's like, no. Like, he literally couldn't have been nice. And it's like, Jordan just kind of gets rewarded, but it's almost like if you don't win, you're just a piece of shit. Like, everything you just said about Jimmy Butler describes Jordan, except obviously Jordan won, but the same kind of, like, he was that shitty. His teammates didn't like him. Ask Karl Anthony Towns what he thinks about, Jimmy Butler.
Right.
It's what Scott Burrell thinks of Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that's why Kobe had all those years where people were like, fuck this guy. It took Kobe winning, and Butler hasn't won yet. So it took Kobe winning to shed a lot of that bullshit. And,
totally.
And Kobe is as Jordan as any player's ever been.
God,
I mean, it's a protege. I mean, he copied literally everything he ever did. I mean, he probably watched the way he breathed. He probably like fucking did tape on how his lung expansion worked. No, but you're right. But the truth, I hate to say this. I don't fucking, this is the truth, is like, if it takes an asshole to be a champion, then so be it. So to me, I get what you're saying about Jimmy, but like when you don't have the fucking goods to back it, then you just are an asshole. So
right.
I'm cool with you being an asshole if it works, because that's a part of this system in some way.
Yeah,
you know?
you're taking the risk being that big of a dick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, show me the most successful person in any industry, entertainment, sports, sales, marketing, finance. They're assholes.
They're a piece of shit.
Nobody at
Something's
the top.
missing.
Yeah, because you have to be. Why you know why Jordan cried at the end of at the end of last episode? It's because he is somebody that only knows how to give everything mentally and physically to something, and it's hard for him to understand why other people can't get there. So he's like, I'm sorry that I'm this way, but I'm this way because this is what made it work. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it is. No, I totally know what you mean. But it's when you that's the thing about Jordan is like, and that's the one interesting part about, well, I mean, so many interesting parts about this documentary, but it's like the longer you get into it, the more you're like, and his Hall of Fame speech is a perfect example of this. It's like, damn, he is the greatest ever, but do you want to be Michael Jordan?
No.
Like, it's like you want to win the rings, but it's like, I'm rather be Horace Grant. Let me win 3. Let me win 3. Let me go to Orlando, dude. Let me then get another one with the Lakers. Like, it's just.
You know who I'd rather be?
I'd rather be fucking Judd Bushler. He looks happier. You know, shit.
Sam, you kind of look like Judd Bushler. Right?
I'm just a lanky white dude. That's all.
I would rather be Johnny Paxson, to be honest, because he's unrecognizable. Yes. He doesn't even look like the same guy. He gets to just walk through life being John Paxson, and people just know him in his neighborhood as just John.
No, not anymore though, because he's fucking. Well, he's the what's the Batman quote? Live long enough to die a hero, or live long enough to be the villain. I mean, he's that for Chicago sports.
How about Bill Cartwright looking older than Morgan Freeman right now?
Yeah,
what the fuck happened to him?
What happened? Black does crack, apparently.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck happened?
It looks like when Scottie Pippen disappointed him, he just started melting. We're like, fuck, Bill.
Where are you
going? Like a sad cartoon cow. Yeah, like
it's almost. And you know what's so funny is I posted something the other day. I was like, BJ Armstrong, I met at a Lakers Bulls game like 3 years ago. He looks the exact same.
He looks great,
dude. It's creepy how.
And he's a funny guy. He was on the Scott Van Pelt ad. Cool. He was very funny, and
no, he looks so good. It feels like there's a curse. Like there's a picture of him aging. Somewhere, you know what I mean? He looks like a haunted doll. Like,
wasn't he Derrick Rose's? He's I think he's Derrick Rose's agent.
Oh,
I think he was. I don't know if he still is anymore, but I think he was.
If he got that max commission.
To go back real fast to that Derrick Rose conversation,
sure.
I loved Derrick Rose so much because my dad and I always talked about this. I have this weird thing about guys that are from the city they get to play for, that it's like this when the stars align to make that happen,
which they did. You had no business winning that lottery.
No, it's
the Bulls like a 1.7% chance.
Impossible. It was impossible. I just think those kind of things are like meant to be. And so when that happened, I was like, oh man, this is going to be this thing that reinvigorates this team for this town. And it really did break your heart. That commercial, that fucking Tupac Gatorade, or what was it, Nike commercial, where it's a little kid riding his bike through the southwest side of Chicago, and he's like, when a rose grows in the concrete.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome.
Every time I watched that commercial, I didn't cry when my fucking grandpa died. You know what I mean? I cried at that commercial every fucking time. Just because it gives you hope. When somebody plays for their hometown, you're like, this is like the savior. It's like a Jesus moment,
Yeah.
But I also feel bad for those guys, because some guys are built for it, but some guys, and it sounds like it was a problem for D Rose too, where it was like, that's a lot of pressure. You have 60 people a game want tickets. And KD was like, I'm never coming to DC. He was I do not want to do it. And some people aren't built for it, but that Rose team, if he doesn't get injured, it's like they could easily have taken one from the Heat. Easy.
Especially if Jimmy Butler was like just a little, if he just was a little too young for that team, but
still underdeveloped. But I mean,
if he grows with them and Rose isn't hurt, fuck, dude.
Yeah, if Rose wasn't
because Noah was fucking incredible on that team. Noah was like
underappreciated, underrated. I think Noah was. he got passed along as, I don't know why he kept getting pushed off as not as important as he really was, but I truly believe he was so much better for us than anybody gave him credit for.
I
think in the moment he got a lot of credit. I think it's that he fell off a cliff and he kind of like he gets caught up in that Tibbs grounds his players to a fucking nub conversation where it's like, which I don't know if it's necessarily fair. I mean, who knows? Noah might have just.
But he played injured in that playoff series on one leg, and I was like, this is incredible. It's also not going to be good for his longevity.
His prime was fucking – I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year, top 5 MVP finisher. I mean, he was a fucking problem. But...
And when you say underrated, Phil Jackson definitely did not underrate him when he signed him to 4 years, $72 million to my fucking Knicks. And I'm so stupid. I was like, this just might
I remember
work.
that. I remember every bad signing since we've been friends, Sam.
And I believe in all of them.
100% positive on every single one.
Well, I remember Noah posted an Instagram pic in a Knicks hat, and I was like, this could work. He's a New Yorker, just the way you felt about D-Rose. But
well,
he's a New Yorker.
The Knicks are notorious for making extremely smart
shrewd front office.
Yeah, really a lot of front office intelligent moves, Dude, I hate to hate on the Knicks, but it's so hard for me to fucking have any love for them because as a kid, you're like, I was conditioned to just fucking hate them so much. Yeah. It's just like for no reason. It's so funny as a kid what's instilled in your head through your father and through like your like through people in your neighborhood that you're like just supposed to hate somebody from a place and a thing. It's so fucking weird.
No, I know. I mean, I grew up in Baltimore, so I'm a Ravens fan, and I hate the Steelers, but it's like there is no difference between the white trash in Pittsburgh and the white trash in Baltimore. We've been abandoned by industry. Our cities are crumbling. We're the exact same fucking shitty, like Baltimore has more black people, but that's the only difference. We're just, we're still like crumbling trash. Right. And like no infrastructure. We're like, fuck Pittsburgh. It's like just a mirror.
Well, you want to be the better of the trash. You do want to have
that's true.
Nobility.
And we
and
are.
Like
and let me be clear. If anyone's from Pittsburgh listening, suck my fucking dick. Baltimore. Lamar, baby.
No, dude, I mean, the Knicks had rivalries in the 90s, and it was the Heat, the Bulls, and the Pacers, and the Bulls were the ones that always just bested us. So to me, it was almost like not even a rivalry. It was just like, all right, we're going to lose. It's okay. It's Jordan. With Reggie, I was like, we're not fucking losing to Reggie. And we did once, and that stayed with me, dude.
I think the reason truly that, and the media did such a good job at this, man. I think the reason that Bulls fans would get riled up about the Knicks, because the Knicks was as much of a production as we had ever seen with celebrityisms. Like Chicago isn't not home to celebrities, but like it never really was a thing until New York and Los Angeles kind of had that thing happen where like famous people would go to these games, like especially because fucking Spike Lee sitting sideline just became such a symbol of New York. It just became easier for me to hate for some reason. I don't know why. It was just, it's not like it didn't happen everywhere, but he kind of became such a fucking symbol of New York, and I couldn't stand him, dude.
Because he was loud and proud, and I kind of loved – I mean, that's why we love him in New York. But look, I get it. He's a pest on the sideline. Like, him yelling at Reggie. Like, you don't yell at the best player. That's what gets them going.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. Like, it took nothing for Jordan to get motivated. Like, this one guy had a good game. Then they tell you the story that he made up that he said
Smith.
Good game.
Yeah.
Like, you made up a lie? Yeah. Jordan's I love how crazy.
He's a
guy. He's a psychopath. He's a psycho.
Imagine being that poor guy. This guy, which by the way, LeBradford, top-notch name. Doesn't get better.
So good. Names. Law in front of anything is good.
Yeah, like Bradford is a weird name to begin with. You throw a law in there, it's
perfect.
Great.
It's perfect.
And he dropped, and he was an ugly 36. Dude. These shots look like we were hitting them. They didn't.
Yeah, I could have. It looked like I was out there doing lucky like shooters roll fucking bounces and shit.
Yeah. Dude, imagine how bad your luck is. You have the game of your life against Michael Jordan. That should be it.
Yeah.
And it's on a back-to-back.
Yeah.
Like Jordan was fresh. He didn't even have like 2 weeks to think about it. It was like the next night. That never happens in it barely happens in the NBA. And the best fucking night of your career comes on the first end of a back-to-back against Jordan. You know he's going to torch you the next night. It's like you're not even going to enjoy it.
The fact that he said, I'm going to drop what that kid dropped in the first half is so condescending. It's it's so fucking, the bravado is through, the hubris is like, it's rude. But then when he does it, even LaBradford is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
And dude, that fucking Bullets
LaBradford's
team
always got
had
that
nothing.
37 though.
Who did they have? Sean Bradley and Clarence
Bradley.
Weatherspoon?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Clarence, I met at a Knicks game once, and he denied me an autograph. I was a kid.
What?
And I used to wait outside the players' entrance just for the players to come out. And I was like, Clarence, can I have your autograph? He comes out in a fur coat, looks me dead in the eyes, and goes, no, and just keeps walking. It killed me.
Dude, there's a rumor going, you should fuck his wife. Because there's a rumor that Future cucked Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen didn't give him an autograph as a kid.
Shut up.
he fucked Larsa Pippen. That's going. Yeah, he did.
Whoa,
and
that's
now
awesome.
there's a story. The rumor is that he didn't give him a. There's no way to check that out, but an incredible urban legend, right?
One of the
Damn.
meanest things I've ever seen, and we're jumping sports, but my dad's. One of my dad's oldest friends, his father is a Hall of Famer for the Chicago White Sox. We were Cubs fans because we were Northsiders,
right?
But we would go to Sox games a lot because Comiskey was, we would go anyway. I mean, I just love baseball. Anyway, Tim Raines. I don't know if you. That's a very
great player, man. It's someplace too. Yeah,
Tim the Rock Raines. Well, this is the wildest thing I've ever seen. It's before the game, and I would always make my dad or whoever I'd go with, like family, would go early because I always wanted to watch BP or watch warm-ups, and just in case you could like go shout at them and they would even like point at you and you were like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. But I'm like against the wall and I hadn't brought in anything to sign. I was just kind of like, you just want to get close because you're a fucking kid and that's the only thing that like matters to you. And Tim Raines is there and he's using multiple donuts and he's just like warming up his back and stuff. And the kid is yelling at him and he's like, Tim, sign my ball. And he's like, chill out. He's like, okay, relax. And the kid is still yelling and yelling. He's like being really annoying. So Tim drops these bats with all these donuts on him and he walks over and he's like saying hi to everyone. He's signing a few things. And then the kid, he grabs his ball. He's like, man, he's like smiling. I don't remember what he said. It was kind of like, all right. And he signs his ball. And then he goes, hey, he's like, you got to get it though. And he was like, what? And he throws it up into the stands and all these kids start running up to go get the ball. It was like the meanest shit I've ever seen, but I was also like, that's the coolest fuck you autograph thing I've like, because if anybody said anything bad, he was like, I was just playing around with the kid, you know what I mean? Like I was just having fun with him, but it was his way of being like, suck dick, you little annoying asshole. And by the way, there's no way that kid got that ball.
No chance.
There was like 50 other kids running to go grab the ball, you know? He went home crying without a doubt.
Damn. That fucking rocks.
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with at one point I used to be obsessed with getting autographs and like going to things early or late like you were doing and they used to play a celebrity golf classic tournament out in the western suburbs of Chicago. Michael Jordan used to host it. It was his classic, right? I would go like days early to go watch them do like the pro-ams or whatever with them, and they would warm up with pros. And I'm standing at this fence, and I've got golf balls, and this dude comes up to me. He's like, "Who you waiting to see?" And I was like, "Anybody. I want to see anybody." And he goes, "You see that cart over there on the other hole?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's Frank Thomas, the big Herc."
Whoa.
And I go, right, dude. And he goes, it is. And it didn't really look like him from far away. It was just a huge dude. And I was like, that could be any there was a million athletes. You know what I mean? It was that could have been any big black dude. And he goes, you better go home and get your card. And sure enough, I'm like, man, maybe I should go fucking get a Frank Thomas card, like just in case. So I sprint, I go get a fucking Frank Thomas card. I come back. Sure enough, it's fucking Frank Thomas. And this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. As a guy that golfs now, you've driven a golf cart before. One leg was hanging out the side of the golf cart and the other one was in. It was like two men couldn't fit in that golf cart. It was the biggest. His legs were bigger than I've ever seen a man's body before. And he gets out and I was like stuttering. And I was like, Hurt, will you sign my card? And he goes, is it a rookie card? And I was like, no. And he goes, no, I'm not going to sign it. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And he goes, I'm just kidding, man. Come on, man. Get over here. And I come over, he signs the card, and he gives it back to me, and he's like, now check this out. And he goes up. The guys are joking around about what he's going to use on this like par 3. and he shanks like 4 of them in a row, and they're all just laughing, having a good time. I mean, he just murders the ball. He can't hit it straight to save his life, but he's just boom, just shooting them off into nowhere, and they're just having a great time. And he's laughing. He's like, "All right, kid, all right, don't go sell it." And I'm like, "I won't." You know, I should have sold it, by the way. It's not fucking worth anything anymore. My mom has booklets of these cards that I had signed as a kid. I have.
Now, who's your best one?
Shit, dude. I mean, I have my personal favorite is I have Jordan on a jersey, and I actually have footage. This is crazy. I have footage of me in a one-on-one with Jordan.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? How?
So my what is like our AAU team, my kids league team, we won our division championship, and Jordan put on a skills camp at Elmhurst College out in Western Illinois.
Holy shit.
And our team won our division at the camp as well. So Jordan was going around doing like little one-on-one drills with guys, and he just fucking randomly picked me, and they're recording it, and I have it on tape. I have it on VHS.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. That's fucking wild.
Crazy. I mean, it's probably only like 30 seconds of tape with me and him. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a whole thing, but it's me smiling eye to eye and him just like pretending to strip the ball from me. It's like the craziest thing I've ever. Yeah, it's fucking retarded.
Yeah,
I have it it's insane.
He called you a hoe afterwards. He's like, you can't make the free throw hoe.
I missed a shot, and he goes, "You little orange ass bitch," and he walked away. No, but that Jordan's probably my personal favorite. But like,
of course, yeah.
I have so many that my dad stole from me. It's really funny over the years. Like, I got Joe Namath, it ended up not being in my autograph book. And I was like, "Man, where's my Namath?" And my dad's like, "I don't know." And then like 2 years later, it's framed in his basement. And I was like, "Isn't that my Joe Namath?" You know? I have
That's hilarious.
Ernie Banks is one of my favorites.
That's
I have
awesome.
I'm trying to think like who's them. I have a lot of small ones, but I actually got Mark McGuire and Ruben Sierra. I got them together.
Nice.
I got I have Shaq. I have Shaq on his. Do you guys remember the upper deck cards that would like change? They were like they would like change colors. As you look
like the higher. What are they called?
I can't
holographics. Holographics.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have Shaq on one of those, and I have. I'm trying to think of like the most because I have so many small ones. But yeah,
those fucking rock.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
What was yours, Sam? What was your biggest nab?
Autograph wise, I mean, I get like any Nick. I got like Allen Houston. I got like, I don't know. I didn't get that many autographs. I was more hungry for like pictures. I remember I get pictures with like anybody. I got like not exciting now, like Kurt Thomas. To Nick fans, exciting.
Still then, Tony as a kid, huge. It doesn't matter who it was.
Baby.
I love Kurt Thomas, man. He's that mid-range J. A lot of those guys wouldn't sign him though, man. I remember Othello Harrington came out of the Garden once after a loss, and he was fucking crying because they lost a close game. And I was like, "Othello, please!" And he just ignored me and kept crying and walked away. So. I was an Othello fan, so that
Othello is so broken by New York, he can't even give out an autograph.
I imagine in the locker room they all talk about you. They're like, "That little Jewish kid is back." Like,
well, dude, the coolest. I remember my dad once, for whatever reason, just passed a Whitey Ford autograph signing. So that's a cool autograph. He got me that one. Sam Whitey Ford. I don't know. I don't have. Walt Frazier is a cool one for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. What do you mean? That's fucking really.
That's
cool.
big. Stav and I used to have a sports show, and he was on one episode. He's a great dude. Is he cool? Nice dude. Yeah. So nice. Such a genuinely nice dude.
It's cool to find out that they're cool. Yeah, it's like makes you like. I don't know why it doesn't matter. Like, but for some reason, when you find out that they're like just a legit nice guy, you're somehow like relieved. You're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
I feel better about all this stuff, even though they don't need to be. Like, I don't know why we expect anybody to be anything but who they really are. It's like they don't have to be super nice to people. They just have to be who they are, and it doesn't mean you have to be. It's okay to be an asshole, but like, you know, like I remember, like when you read stuff about some of these athletes, I always give them the benefit of the doubt. When someone's like Marshawn Lynch is disrespectful to the media and he never wants to play by their rules, it's like, wow, he's just a fucking human. Like,
who gives a shit? At the end of the
day, he's none of this stuff. Like when you watch that, going back to the documentary, when you watch all the cameras on Jordan all the time, how fucking exhausting is that?
Well, dude, it's like we all got into stand-up because we want to be stand-up comics. It's like these guys got into basketball to shoot a basketball. They didn't get into this to answer questions nonstop. Like that's when they talked about Jordan being like, no, he would have done this he's not in this for the fame. Like he would have done this
Oh,
no
I
matter
get
what.
it. Listen, Jordan wanting to be away from people. Like the reason he retired, I completely understand. I've hidden in fucking broom closets to avoid Legion of Skanks fans. I know where the man. I know where the man is coming from.
By the way, they know exactly that's where you are. Like, where else would you be? That's where you would be. Yeah. You should, if you really want to divert any Legion of Skanks, just go to anywhere with like that requires shirt and shoes for service.
Go to a library. You'll be safe.
Andrew, who are your favorite players who are non-Bulls?
Oh, I mean, you could easily guess some of them for sure. Sean Kemp was one of the most dynamic people I'd ever
That was what pissed me off about. Sorry to cut you off,
good.
But when they were fucking talking about the Sonic series, and they just fucking completely gloss over Kemp. Kemp was fucking
so annoying,
incredible in that series,
dude. It was so annoying.
Great.
They wanted to focus on the relationship between Gary Payton and Jordan, which I understand, but they did glaze over. It's arguably one of the most beautiful, high-flying acts I've ever seen in basketball. Dude, I got to see Kemp one time as a kid, and it was like, I remember seeing Jordan play and thinking like, dude, this guy just like, he like floats, but like Kemp was something else.
Yeah.
Kemp was like an enigma who could like change shape in the air. He could change direction just like Jordan did, but it was as if he just had so much more body to him. You know, Jordan seemed small.
Oh my God, yeah.
Kemp was so lengthy, and I just love that Kemp has 50 kids. I just think that's
dude. The guy had 23, 10, 2 assists. These are his averages for the finals: 23 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks.
Jesus
and they
disrespected that Sonics
He scored
team
more
too.
than Peyton. I mean, Peyton did great, obviously 18, 3, 7, but it's like.
But they disrespected that Sonics. That Sonics team was pretty cool. I
mean,
to call it the biggest mismatch is insane.
Well, Nate McMillan was hurt for most of that series, I think, and he was a great defender, man. I mean, they were a good defensive team. So that
but
backcourt
it's like
of
the
Kemp
Cavs. I guess I'm
Peyton
thinking of series that happened since, but like Cavs Spurs, the first time LeBron got there, bigger mismatch. The Nets versus the Lakers that 1 year where they got swept.
Nets versus the Spurs.
Yeah, anytime
they got
the Nets
swept back-to-back years, right?
And really, any Nets series. But I think like Kemp was my second to Jordan. He was the guy that I like was in love with, man. I thought he was so fascinating to watch. And then there were guys that I just thought were just cool. Like I thought Nick Van Exel was the coolest motherfucker on earth.
Yeah.
I loved him. I just thought
I love a lefty.
Yeah, there's something about the tiny guys were always cool in the NBA to me because as a small white guy, I was like, that's cool that like you don't have to be 6'8" to just get respect from these guys that are Goliaths. And he was quicker than all of them, you know?
Yeah.
I also saw him. I met Van Exel at a fucking Laker game, and he was so nice. Like I ran up to him, and nobody was bothering him, by the way. Nobody, which was so weird to me that I was like, why is no one knew who he was, maybe, I guess.
Wow.
But I ran up to him and
at a Lakers game, the disrespect.
I just think a lot of the young people that go to Lakers games now, they may not have that connection.
They don't remember. They don't remember that team, dude.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's a team that's been lost to memory because it's like everything pre-Kobe is like, no one even remembers Vlade. No one remembers that Vlade Van Exel. That team is just like, Vlade even though they were good.
So fucking fun, man.
It's like the Yankees in the 80s. No one gives a shit. It's like when you're in between all the championships.
But they were solid, right? I mean, I feel like they had right before they got Shaq, they had one really good season. That's why.
Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones.
Yeah, they were
almost
good. They were good, but they weren't memorable. I don't think that was. They weren't like not
true.
It just wasn't a memorable.
They were like a basketball fans like little niche team, but yeah.
The Clippers were that for a while too. The Clippers had many iterations of their team where like they got overshadowed. You know what I mean? So they were just kind of, even when they had great ball players on there, it's
the Elton Brand team.
Elton Brand. It just didn't matter because it was like you're overshadowed by giants.
Aaron Davis.
It's fucking hard. BD is my guy, dude. I did a show with him.
He seems awesome.
He's such a fucking cool dude, and he loves smoking weed. I mean, like an understatement. Like smoking weed. Like we were smoking weed outside of a fucking casino because we shot the show in Vegas. And the security guard comes out, and it's me, him, and one of his homies. And the security guard's like, "Hey, man, you can't smoke pot here." And BD was like, "We're almost done." And the security guard was like, "You have to get out of here. You can't smoke marijuana here." And BD was like, "I said we're almost done, man. Fucking chill the fuck out." And the guy literally took his tail between his legs and was like, "All right, just like get out. You guys got to get out of here." And then went back inside.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I was so nervous. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get in trouble. Tomorrow they're going to be like, why'd you guys go to jail? Why were you smoking pot on the fucking strip? Like, it's so dumb, you know?
Yeah.
And BD
Which show
like,
was this that you were shooting with him?
Yeah, it wasn't a great show, but I did Yahoo's first TV show called Sin City Saints. It was about the first expansion. This is funny, actually. It was ahead of its time. Yahoo did 2 TV shows, I don't know, 6 years ago, whatever this was. And our show was about the first franchise expansion team to go play in Vegas. And an article got written about the show and was like, not only is the show not good, it's not believable a professional sports team would actually end up in Vegas. And look at us now. Like, oh, yeah, bitch.
Hilarious.
Everyone's there now. They're going to have everything at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the first basketball team in Vegas. And I was a young Mark Cuban-esque guy who owned the team, who knew nothing about the fuck, you know what I mean? Who was just kind of clueless, but I became such an integral manager that I basically shit the bed. I mean, the show was mediocre, but I had so much fun. It was me, Nolan Ackerman, Tom Arnold.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We had Baron Davis was our like superstar, and Rick Fox was
of course
was one of the GMs. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Fox was great, and Tom Arnold was there, and all he did was ramble on about stories of best damn sports show days and stuff like that, of like telling secrets and stories. Like Rick Fox, especially, he would just talk constantly about how big Rick Fox's dick was all the time. Like he would just constantly like ramble on, and Fox was like, all right.
All right, stop talking about my penis, Tom. For the last time, Tom.
Yeah, but it was fun, dude. I actually, to make a quick weird connection, so the guys that did that were Mandalay Sports Media, which is who did this Jordan doc. It's the same company, except the people that I worked with, half of them broke off and did their own thing, and the other half went and did this. That's Mike Tolan Robbins, who did the Jordan doc. And not to talk shit, but this documentary was actually a partnership between the 3 guys that I've worked with, and Tolan took it when those guys left, and I imagine there will be legal battles in the future.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, the property was not one person's property. Let's just put it that way.
Damn.
So,
yeah.
I remember he told me about it years ago. He was like, dude, we're making a doc of Jordan, and we're going to unrelease footage that no one's ever seen. And in my mind, I was like, good fucking luck. Like, when will that happen?
Right.
Sure enough. Yeah, so Mandalay Sports, the people that did the Jordan doc were the ones that did this sports show. And they've done a few projects with me. They're fucking great people over there. They know what the fuck they're doing. The only beef my wife has that she goes, you should text Tolan. She goes, text Tolan, stop time jumping, because it's hard for her to follow how often they time jump. And I go, I get it. If you don't know this world, it would be hard, I guess. It
is a little weird. I mean, I think the weirdest one was the Rodman episode, where it's like you're going back and forth, and he's part of both teams, but now he's your. And then what I also didn't like is a lot of weird stuff gets lost in the time jump. I think we're talking about Pippen, and we're talking about his contract in the beginning, and it's like, well, why doesn't that? Can we tell us in context when that happens? You know what I mean? Like when would it have been that he's negotiating this contract? Is it after they've already won championships? It's like so much shit.
Well, it's got to be 1990 or 91, right? Because it was a 7-year deal.
Yeah, it was 1990, I think. Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, dude, 7 years, 18 million.
So then, but that's what I don't understand.
Talent.
That's what I thought. Sad. But then they're talking about it like, because Kukoc, they don't like Kukoc because he's getting a deal, and Scotty still wants. Does Scotty want his deal renegotiated like 2 years in? Like, has this been something plaguing the whole team? Like, I didn't know that, and it's just like, it's a little. It's done. Some of it is done a little clumsy, I think, and I mean, I don't blame the guys. Apparently, they thought they were gonna have like this whole NBA season. They were doing fucking interviews up until the NBA got canceled. So they actually hadn't finished when they started airing them, which is crazy to think about. So, you know, you have to make the best of it, but it's a little, it
jumps. I don't mind it just because I know better, but I do understand from her perspective of like, there's many people that I'm sure are watching that. I assume many girlfriends are watching that with their boyfriends and husbands that are just like, I thought Rodman played on the Pistons. You know what I mean? Right. There are these moments where they're like, they do kind of.
It is funny though. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
You're right about. It's like funny to hear about like your wife being like, you know, who didn't know all this stuff, and it's funny. You do get so many people that have no idea. My brother's girlfriend was like Australian, grew up there, doesn't know shit about basketball, and she was just like, Dennis Rodman is so cool.
You're like,
hasn't heard of Dennis Rodman.
and you're like, wait, I'm about to make him cooler. He's friends with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
You want to know how cool this motherfucker is?
Do you think he knew?
Cool.
Do you think he knew that Kim Jong-un faked his own death just to test people? That sounds like the type of shit Jordan would have done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just fakes it, and then he's like, oh, shit, Bill Wennington's a traitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think he knew. I think he cried, and I think he went and he was weeping over his gravestone to the point that now he's going to be on his cabinet because he proved himself to be a true and loyal friend.
Yeah. Actually, it's really funny to think that, like, Rodman, that's who I think. Same thing, dude. My wife, by the way, was like, I would love to see a longer story about Rodman. And it is true because such a fucking, I don't know what sports writer, Sam, you'll probably know, you probably picked up on this. Someone on the internet, some sports writer was like, can we stop pretending that Dennis Rodman was interesting at all?
It was Simmons, dude. It was Bill? That's a horrible take. Yeah.
It was Bill?
It was Simmons, yeah.
Whoa. I didn't know.
And Russillo, and Ryan Russillo.
I saw a retweet and I was like, who the fuck said that? And I kind of didn't pay attention to it because my assumption, as it always is when I open Twitter, is this is a troll. Like it's everything on Twitter is to troll you, to get you to bait, you know.
It was
when you get
troll.
big enough, like,
when
when you're as big as Bill Simmons, I think like you gotta start shit sometimes to keep it interesting. Probably, you know.
Go talk.
I mean,
look
at
Skip
Stephen
Bayless.
A. Right.
Yeah.
Like, or Stephen A. and Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
Like it's pro wrestling, dude.
Yeah, but that's still though that's a horrific take.
No,
I mean, Rodman is the most interesting, like arguably the most interesting player ever. Like he's bizarre.
Well, if you really want to get the thing that I think they glossed over, they talked about it, but they almost talked about it as if it was a whatever. But it was a huge deal for him to like go to Vegas to take a break because he had an emotional and mental breakdown. And the idea that I mean, if I'm being very honest from somebody, like when you start to care about people's mental health on a very real level, you're like, dude, that guy was fucking violently depressed. I mean, they're lucky he didn't kill himself or kill someone else.
Here's another thing. No health professional.
You'll go drink it away. What?
But the other thing is like no health professional is ever going to be like, you're depressed. Go to Vegas for 48 hours.
Yeah. No shit.
It doesn't help.
But no, oddly enough, it worked. It fucking worked. It was like,
but it worked. You're right. Rodman is this kind of guy, and I think we've touched on it a little bit before. But he's the kind of guy who, he just got used and like kind of spit out by the league. I mean, Jordan knew what he was doing. He used him, and it was like that was the end of his prime. Rodman didn't have any plans afterwards. He was treating his body fine, but now you look at him, he's the one who looks the worst out of everybody because he needed to be a star. That was what was like filling whatever problems he had in his life. And since he became an alcoholic, the poor guy is fucked. I mean,
Well, no one talks about Sam. I sent you that article from. Or wait, maybe I didn't send it to you. Did you send it to me? Maybe the Players Tribune.
Eddie Curry. I sent
about
you
Eddie
that
Curry.
One, right?
Yeah. I passed it around so much because I was like, this is the kind of story that needs to be fucking pushed around. That like there are some guys, people don't believe this. Some of these guys don't really fucking want to play basketball.
Right.
It's just they're so fucking big and athletically gifted that it's like, well, I have to take this job because it's going to give me money. And like, why the fuck not? Yeah. But I think Rodman was one of those guys that I think he loved competition and camaraderie, and he loved a lot of elements of it. But physically, basketball itself, at some point, I don't think he gave a fuck at all. I think it was
dude, imagine being that guy. Like, you're not a scorer. You don't get your glory is diving into the stand.
Is getting hurt. Go get hurt. Yeah, go get hurt. That's basically what they were like every game. They're like, Dennis, just go get hurt. And if you do well, we'll award you for your pain. And like, so for him, that's why I think he was into, when they're like, oh, he's piercing, he prints out, he pierced his dick. And it's like, dude, because this guy gets rewarded for
BDSM,
pain, for looking away, for hurting him. He's masochistic. Like, he loved it. He fucking loved it. In fact, I dyed my fucking hair. You know how hard it is to dye orange hair, by the way? I fucking did those spray cans. My mom had to buy like 9 of them when we went to a Bulls game because I dyed my hair for Rodman. And by the way,
what color?
Huh?
What color do you go?
It was green and pink.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, honestly, you can't dye orange hair. That's a lesson learned. It doesn't work because it's such a fucking weird color already. And if you think you get made fun of as a redheaded kid already, wait till you can't wash the color out for a week.
Yeah.
And see how people call you a fag every day. Where's your earring, faggot? Like
even with Rodman, dude. Rodman didn't provide cover in Chicago.
No, he wasn't around that. He wasn't.
Yeah.
At the game. Yeah. It's just like it's funny to think that like I remember doing it and my mom being so excited for me because I was so happy. I was like so excited. We were going to a Bulls game and I was like, I'm gonna fucking color my hair. Let's go to Walgreens and go get hairspray, you know. And then afterwards, you're like, this is not in any way comparison, but he does it for the attention, just like I did it for the attention and the thing. But then afterwards, it's almost like, well, people are still going to look at you weird and talk how stupid that is. And
it wears off.
He loves that. He loves it, but it kills him. It's what fuels that fucking spiral, you know?
Yeah.
Of like, why? Because why do all those things if you don't love the attention? But
I think for him, it was like the only time he had ever gotten any kind of acceptance or especially those Pistons teams. Like, it's sad to him. And honestly, if your wife was into his story, they did do a 30 for 30 with him. That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And that Pistons team is the first time he had gotten any kind of acceptance. Like Chuck Daly was his dad as far as he was concerned. So like this fucking poor guy finally finds something. I mean, his mom kicks him out of the house. He's fucking homeless.
Yeah.
You know.
That's insane.
And then he plays basketball every day. He has a fucking foot and like 2-inch growth spurt. He goes from like 5'8" to like, or 5'6" to like 6'8".
Didn't Pippen have that same story? Wasn't Pippen like fucking 6'2"?
Jordan grew too. They all grew.
Dude, all these guys. I mean, Anthony Davis, even Baron Davis actually. Baron Davis was really short, and then he like grew to like 6'2" or whatever. It happens all the time because these guys are like overcompensating because they're short, and then they get the late growth spurt, and then they're just fucking.
Still might happen to Kevin Knox. We're hoping.
Dude, I'm still holding out for mine, dude. My mom says boys grow until 34, so I'm hoping for that growth spurt any day now.
That sounds like some Eastern European muck. You know?
That's my mom will tell me whatever I want to hear.
Yeah, you'll get your spurt at 46. It happens to all of the men in our family.
It happened to your grandfather.
There's so many weird things from last night's episode though, because it's like they're getting into the Father's Day stuff. It was the heaviest shit that I'd seen.
It was by far, and also
that's what I wanted.
Him sob is like, wow.
That was
It hits something. It hits a note.
I'd never heard it. I think they said it on SportsCenter. Like they show you the footage, but you don't hear the sob, and you're like, oof, that's rough.
Yeah, it's almost like they mic'd him up. I was like, Jesus Christ, why are they fucking? How's that audio so clear?
It feels like we shouldn't be watching. That's the first time where I'm like, this is beyond voyeuristic right now. This instant.
This is Aaron Andrews hotel key people shit.
Right.
Where I'm like, I shouldn't watch this. I mean, I really want to see it, but I definitely shouldn't watch it.
It is true. The sound takes it to the next level. Like, I'll watch porn, but if I had to smell porn, I think it would.
Wow, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? I think it's one level too much intimacy for me as far as I'm.
You know what's fucked up? I miss being a road comic so much that Andrew brings up Aaron Andrews, and I was like, fuck, I miss a Holiday Inn.
Yeah, dude. It's so weird to miss hotels because I used to all we do is complain about them, but now I do miss hotels.
Me too, bro.
Man, it's so nice to just like wake up in a bed that fucking doesn't matter. You can go, you kind of like you lounge around for far too long, but it's like everything is excused. It doesn't matter there, you know?
Yeah.
You do that here and you're a piece of shit. You're like,
I'm
going to eat in bed and I'm going to fucking jerk off and next to my food that I just finished. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that at home. That's fucking repulsive. You can't fucking jerk off and eat at the same time in your own bed. I mean, you can, but don't do it.
I miss the hotel lifestyle.
I miss all that shit, dude. I fucking miss. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss fucking taking a flight somewhere. I miss like that, the excitement of like riding on the plane and prepping for and wishing about what the city's gonna, what's gonna happen in that city. Like I wonder what the crowds are gonna be like, or what food I'm gonna eat when I get there, or who I'm meeting up with. Like Chris O'Connor. You guys know O'Connor? Do you know Chris?
Yeah. He's
funny, dude.
Yeah.
He comes on the road with me sometimes. And
Chris is funny as shit. Philly, right?
Yeah, Philly guy. Well, he lives in New York now. He just moved.
Yeah, he just moved. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's fucking awesome, Sam. You love this dude. He's super.
Yeah, he's very funny guy.
Shane, good buddies with Shane Gillis.
Right. I think you told me about him, Andrew. I think we talked about him once.
He comes with me a lot, and it's so weird. We called each other the other day, and I was like, it's weird to like miss doing comedy with your buddy in a weird like. you know, it's like very fucking, not no homo, yes homo. Like they're
Yeah, absolutely.
Just hanging out with them and fucking talking shit in the hotel the next morning and getting coffee. And I miss the fuck out of that stuff, dude. It's a bummer. I'm so tired of this fucking, I'm ready to go to Georgia and just
well, you miss the bad, right?
Yeah.
Even the bad. I miss even like a shitty in-flight coffee. I just miss it all.
Dude,
I miss everything.
Well, when I say the shitty coffee in the morning, that's usually part of the bad because we're like in some fucking place we don't want to be half of the time.
Yeah.
Like, just taking a walk and figuring it all out. Like I miss all that stuff too. I miss, and I think I miss more than anything is exercising at the store, like going to do fucking workout sets. Like I miss the fuck out of just going to do shitty new jokes.
Oh,
like,
dude, I can't even fucking, it's almost like, it's like my husband died in the war and I can't think about it. You know what I mean? It's like he's missing in action right now. It's like, it's fucking, he comes back one day, I'll start my life again, but right now he's dead as far as I'm concerned. I'll start crying.
You just got a telegram from Washington. And you're like, fuck this shit.
Stand-up comedy is canceled.
When the National Guard shows up at your front door, you just close the door on them and you just keep walking. You walk away. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it.
We know. We already know.
They're rapping on your window. They're like, ma'am. You're like, I don't want to. I don't want to know. Don't talk. It is true. It's like a fucking the unknown. It's so indefinite that I'm just like, it is what it is. What it is like. At least this shit's fucking entertaining. At least like fucking around with comics on the internet has been, I would say 75%. Like this has been awesome. This is part of the 75. There have been 25% where I'm like, I fucking please get me out of this, whatever I'm doing. Like, like there's been a few times of like, I did a charity show benefit for the store. It was fucking atrocious. The connection was bad. And as long as we raise money for the fucking servers, I don't care. But I was also like, there's no way people are liking this at home.
Right.
Like, they got to be like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? But it's been fun to at least fucking connect and this thing kind of picking up, which I think that's been the only thing that's kind of helped.
Do we ever have to go to a podcast studio again now that we've all figured Zoom out? I mean, this should save us like at least
the only benefit is having other people do the work for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they have a studio where it's a really nice setup that you have good producers that do everything, it's always nice to just like let them push all the buttons and worry about everything. And you're like, great. I don't ever have to fucking, that's the best part about being a part of any kind of studio is like, the worry is gone. You're like, oh, they'll take all the blame if anything goes wrong.
Sam is not. Sam is actually learning leaps and bounds. Motherfucker could not even plug headphones in at the beginning of doing this remotely. But he's got a green screen now. We're fucking coming up, baby.
I like this. The Simpsons background, actually, but your background. This dude over your left shoulder.
Oh, I love this guy.
This guy. He is so fucking cool. That is a character from Family Guy.
He's unbelievable.
It's so fucking.
He's unbelievable. Wozniak.
Him flicking the nickels and then joking with his gun on his hip. I was like, this guy's a psychopath.
Dude. He was a narcotics officer that did security for Jordan.
Yeah,
he fucking rules, dude.
But it's just so funny to think that like that look it didn't get made fun of. Like no one around mocked him. Like
he was a psychopath.
Jordan relentlessly bullied Krause about being short and fat. I mean, just like relentless. And he never threw shade at that dude, his security guard, not once. You know, Krause. But by the way, Krause, as a Chicago guy, Krause deserved every fucking ounce of getting shit.
Yeah.
Oh, piece of shit.
Every one of us fucking like nobody.
Just how he was beaming. Just him beaming, signing Tony Kukoc. Kids in Europe wanted to be like Tony. We're like, dude, you got Jordan. Chill the fuck out.
Dude, another great thing that the filmmakers have done is shown throughout the years that he's been a piece of shit. Yeah. Like after the first championship, talking about the organization, the Tony Kukoc stuff, like it didn't all happen at the end. He's been a fucking piece of shit.
The way he reacted to fucking Craig Sager's question was so great at the beginning of the fucking, you know, he's like, there is no backstabbing. There is no backstabbing.
Yeah. And then he tries to get him at the end, just bombing. Yeah. Unlike what you said, actually. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Actually, I don't know what reporter said it, but it was really funny. At the very end of that clip, you could hear somebody go, "Thanks a lot, Craig."
Yeah.
It was like two little kids, you know what I mean? Like, now mom's not going to let us have ice cream because you fucking ate it last night, you jag off.
Yeah, Craig Sager was great. Another one of my favorite moments was BJ Armstrong with the Hornets. Just absolutely having the game of his life and understanding it's going to come back to haunt him.
Oh,
like
100%.
knowing full well Jordan is gonna fuck him in the ass the next 3 games, but he's like, I'm enjoying this. But it's like when you get fucked up and text your ex, you're like, there's gonna be fallout, but it's gonna be awesome tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was good, man. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the wrap up of this fucking series because I really do want to see what kind of bow tie they put on this thing. You know, like the one thing they've left out very heavily is his relationship with Juanita and their children. I mean, there is no Juanita talk. There is no.
It's
like,
weird.
Where the fuck are his kids, dude? Like they're not there. You saw them like twice, and these
ones, yeah,
and that's it.
His brother, like for a second, you know.
Well, I think
how hard would it to be Michael Jordan's brother?
I would argue that was by choice. I think Jordan, you know, Jordan had all this they used to talk about it all the time that like his brother was a better basketball player than him for the longest time. And then
he's like 5'8".
Yeah. He was just a better ball player and Jordan wanted to beat him so bad. And when he beat him, I feel like it was like such a fuck you to his brother that I don't think they have a great relationship. Like, I don't think it's bad. I just think,
that's the thing, man.
Jordan's the god to him, you know. It's like, I'm the god. You're my older brother, but like, you know, I'm the greatest of all time. So we don't really need him in the documentary. I feel like he would have said that, like, nah, we don't need him. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He hasn't absorbed it and let it go. Like Jordan's been worshipped on every show. He's still the number one shoe, and he probably can't have a dinner with his brother without being like, I'm better than you.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
I wonder about that, man, because that's the thing that I really would like to see more of, and we're not going to get. It just I wanted a real introspective. Jordan now is almost more fascinating to me than this stuff. Like, this stuff is great. I'm glad we have it, but as hardcore basketball fans, you know almost everything. It's just like fun to relive it.
Yeah.
But Jordan now is a fascinating figure. What is his relationship like to his sons with Juanita? Like, how close are they? He's got kids that were born, you know, with his wife that he never put. They were born after he retired. Like, he's a fucking.
How many kids does he have with that woman now? 2?
I think 2. I believe 2.
I think that's so weird. I've never seen them. You don't hear about them, which is fine. A lot of times, like, look, dude, like, totally. I'm gonna keep my family life private too, because I like a lot of times when you are in some sort of public eye, obviously not like Jordan, but like at all, people want to know everything.
For sure, it's
and
weird.
The kid thing is hard, but his is different because his kids are both fucking basketball players who both played college ball. So it's like,
they were horrible though.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, I'm sure they move tickets. You know what I mean? You know, I'm sure people would just go just because. Speaking of which, my dad, it was weird to see how much hate Jordan had for Isaiah, because, you know, Isaiah was a Chicago guy,
right?
And my dad used to go, you know, say that, you know, he would watch him play when he was young, and he was like, the city fucking of Chicago loved Isaiah Thomas. Like, he was a hero. He was like a hometown hero. And to see how much hate Jordan put on his name was really wild to do to a kid that's from that city.
Yeah.
The documentary didn't explore that at all. And they really kind of made Isaiah out to be this like bad guy just because Jordan called him an asshole. But like, look, man, walking off after taking that loss, I understand sportsmanship, but I just don't think it was that bad. Like, fucking get over it.
It was annoying for sure, but it wasn't like the sin they made it out to be.
No, sure. I mean, they hyped it up so much. They inflated it to be this like
Pippen not going in is worse.
Way worse. Way more disrespectful to the fucking game, to your team, to like the athletic moral code of like, we go until we die. We have to lose together. But I've said this before, and fucking my dad and I argue about it all the time. I disagree with shaking hands after games, because when I was a kid, I fucking hated it. I always said you should shake hands before the game and say good luck and good game, and that's good sportsmanship. And then when it's done, it's over with. That's what happened. Because as a loser, you never want to shake the winner's hand, and as a winner, why do you want to shake the loser?
Come on, to gloat on those fucking pieces of shit.
I think it's better to celebrate with your squad. Yeah, I know. That's why.
Real nice one, Chief.
Nice game. You played tough. You guys played tough, man. You played tough. Yeah.
I get that when you get swept And look, Isaiah was like, they didn't hand it to me. Why do I have to hand the lead to this guy? I get where he's coming from, but I also think Jordan shook his hand. I think he should return the favor.
He should have shook his hand, but he shouldn't have been left off the fucking dream team because of it.
But they say it wasn't all Jordan. They say it was also everyone.
Again, this is when it's
Sam,
because
it was all Jordan.
Pippen hated him. I mean, it wasn't
That's because of Jordan's influence.
Yeah, dude, it's like it was Jordan. Let's be honest.
It was Jordan.
That's another one of these like Jordan gets. There's a lot of. I can't wait to rewatch this with a critical eye now that we know what the situation is and be like, oh, here's everything they swept under the rug. There's going to be a fun rewatch.
Why didn't they talk about Magic and HIV?
Yeah, did they even talk about it at all?
No.
I mean, they talk. There's a lot of docs on that. There's Bird versus.
No, but I mean that
Magic,
was an integral part to this Olympic the Olympic team. That was I remember this debate over players saying they don't want to play against somebody who has HIV. That was a fucking huge thing.
Karl Malone in particular.
After he was teammates with him.
Yeah.
It was a real fucking dickhead move.
So the fact that they didn't bring that up during the Dream Team section was like, what? You're not going to talk about the most fucking integral moment of Magic Johnson's career of like the shift
culturally,
of like, culturally it changed how basketball looked at that stuff. And actually, to give Jordan credit, they didn't show that either. I remember that Jordan interview where he was like really proud. He's like, I'm going to stand by my brother and I don't think anybody should be afraid of this stuff and we should be knowledgeable and that's my brother and I'll never not play alongside my brother. And it was like such a beautiful moment for some of these guys because let's be real. If we want to be real culturally, whether or not people want to admit it or not, most black dudes are still weird about gay shit. Okay. And especially when it comes to sports, when you hear guys talk about it in sports, most black dudes in sports are like, no, I don't fucking know about all that fucking gay shit. And that's why on the down low is a real thing because they don't want to admit it. It's just reality. In white culture, gayness, homosexuality is accepted a lot more. And
I would say probably big city white culture.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like rural shit.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? You go back to Baltimore and Pittsburgh, back to the trashy suburbs. Let me tell you, it is not so.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not, but big city, even in black culture, a lot of my black friends.
You're right. Big,
a lot of my black friends still today that are like, even they kind of are like a little like.
No, I definitely, I know what you mean.
They're like, gay dudes are fucking.
Well, John Amici, remember who came out as gay after he retired, played for the Magic and the Jazz, and talks about like, all the horrible homophobic shit Jerry Sloan would say to him. But like he said he didn't even, which by the way, Jerry Sloan does look like a Republican. Like,
oh my God, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. Senator, but John Amici had that great quote being like, I'm in the locker room with dudes like showing off their muscles to each other. They're wearing like diamonds all over each other. They're wearing $10,000 suits. He goes, I'm the gay one. It's a great quote.
Because I suck cock. That is
big
gayer.
Fucking deal. Big fucking deal. Sucking dick is so easy. Dressing gay is way harder.
Yeah. What Russell Westbrook wore into this game is much gayer than what I did with my ass last night.
Dude, that's the other thing. I wish they had a fashion moment because to watch the fashion shift of the era was so wild. Like these guys kind of led the charge into wearing these like super expensive suits. And then, of course, what we saw later in the 90s was like the Allen Iverson years of like, I'm going to wear fucking what I was wearing with my boys 3 hours ago to now it's like, I want to be on Instagram posing with the newest bullshit, whatever. I'm curious to know what the next iteration, I would hope. I know I sound like my fucking old white dad. I think suits would be dope again. I just think wearing fly ass suits looks so cool. Walking through those tunnels, something about it.
I think we got a couple more years of like guys trying to get Fashion Nova deals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like guys trying to get signed. Yeah,
my man Kelly Oubre. But Kobe rocked the suit. I mean, like there was like a period because when David Stern was like, if you're injured, you got to wear a suit. That kind of brought it back for a minute.
Yeah. Well, didn't Stern have a rule about press conferences? They had to wear dress clothes for press conferences. And that was I think there was a big point of contention because guys wanted to wear street clothes because they were going to go home. So they were like, we want to dress up on the way in, but after we shower and get fucking, get all the tape off and relax, I want to wear clothes to go to my house. I'm going to get in my car and go home. Yeah. And he finally started letting those guys wear T-shirts and baseball hats and all that bullshit. But again, it's another one of those moments where you look back and you go, yeah, man, these guys should wear whatever they want. You don't own them. They're
right.
not, you know,
That's what I love. Again, going back to Stern suspending MJ, it's like, you think he would have suspended his number one player like 8 years later? He's like, all right, you rowdy blacks, put on a suit. I'm trying to sell thing, advertising to ABC. Get those cornrows out of your hair. Get a haircut, for Christ's sake.
Seattle is getting a franchise basketball team again. Have any of you guys heard? They're called the Rowdy Blacks. They're going to be good. They're going to be good.
Howard Schultz, man. That fucking guy.
Dude, did you watch that documentary, The Sonic Gate? Have you ever seen that?
No. Is it good?
I'm going to send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me, please.
It's fascinating. It's just, it really does detail in great depth how bad that city got fucked and still deserves a team.
They got fucked.
Just
big
so
time.
Crazy, dude. It's like,
it's hard to root for the Thunder. I mean,
it's
even
so
though
hard.
I like that team, the guys on that team now, it's hard to root for Oklahoma. They stole a team. There's no way around it.
And also, Thunder, I'm one of those guys where, like, if I can't get behind, like, your fucking logo or mascot or name at all, it's also a weird taste in my mouth. Like, the orange and blue, and you're called the Thunder. I'm just like, none of this is cool for me. You know what I mean? Like the older teams seem to be more divisive about how they pick names. I mean, the Knicks was such a cool name. Like, the Bulls was a cool name. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was just something about some of these names that just resonated with you, and that's why I think they transcended.
Yeah, Thunder stinks for sure.
Thunder's bullshit. I mean,
it's like a step above the Wizards. It's rough, you know.
Also, by the way,
what
a bad taste in my mouth with Jordan and the Wizards, and I really hope they don't showcase it much, because
I bet you they won it all. Which is
such a fucking disgusting point of I was so mad. I was actually like mad at him. I was like, this is such a bullshit move.
But when you see the front office, you got to get it, right? He doesn't want to play. He wants to play for people that are going to treat him right.
Yeah,
that front office sucked.
I just think something about
they pushed him out the door. It's crazy.
And by the way, how about Jerry Reinsdorf's lips? Holy shit. Those were pink.
Reinsdorf too. That's the thing that's annoying. It's like Krause is a piece of shit, but Reinsdorf's like, oh, I'm just going to pay Michael while he's playing baseball. It's like, you couldn't have broke Scotty off a couple more million, you fucking piece of shit.
Nope.
It's like, it's so shitty.
But again, like we talked about, it takes these guys at the top of their profession to be crazy assholes. They really are. I think Reinsdorf liked Jordan so much because he was a crazy fucking asshole, just like him. That's why he's a piece of shit. And Scotty was a stand-up guy. You know, when they showed Scotty, for the most part, I mean, no one's perfect, but dude, for all intents and purposes, Scotty was the perfect teammate, ball player, friend, public persona. He did all the right things. He was really the guy that Jordan was pretending to be all those years. Scotty barely did anything wrong to anybody, and he still kind of got the butt of everything. You know what I mean? Like, he never got the thickest cut of meat. So you know,
no, it's true.
What does it show you? Being an asshole wins, unfortunately.
Like, it always does. It always does.
It just does.
Anyway, but you guys have any other thoughts, boys, to wrap this bad boy up?
No, it's fucking, I can't wait.
No, this is a great episode, Andrew. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you. It's really rare. We've talked about this. You never find fucking not a lot of comics like sports. It's like a weird, you get in this thing where most comedians are like, I don't watch sports. You're like, oh shit, I guess I'm alone on this island.
But you're like a real Chicago guy. Listen to Andrew's podcast, Whiskey Ginger.
Yeah,
you're on the show. You're on the show Dave, the Little Dicky show.
Yeah, we just got picked up today, so we're gonna do another.
Wow.
Oh, awesome. Congrats, man.
It's wild.
I heard it's great. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either, but I heard people like it. So I'm happy to do. It's fun to do that stuff once in a while. Like, TV can be fun. I mean, like, it's stand up is just the best, and TV is just kind of another way to be like, yeah, I can just go exercise, fucking doing that shit when I'm in town. But it'll never replace stand up. But I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it seems cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's a very modest. Yeah, it's like, I guess I'll be on a TV show. Whatever.
No. Well, it's more, you know what it really is? It's more like, I like it, but
no, I'm with you. I know
it'll never make me as happy as stand-up does. It just,
dude, I think we're all on the same page there, where it's like, yeah, we've done a bunch of, it's cool to do cool shit, but then it's like, just put me in a fucking shitty club.
Just let me make idiots laugh. Just let me fucking make morons laugh for money. That's my. It's like the best. That's the best living you can earn to me. Is like when you get a check from doing TV. it's like, okay, cool, yeah, thank you. But when you get a check from doing stand up, you're like, yeah,
it's earned.
I deserve that. Fucking
This is earned
you know?
money. Yeah,
That fucking earned every dollar on that fucking check. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
Thank
the
you
show,
guys, man. This was fucking
Andrew,
great.
yeah, stay in touch, man. Thanks for doing
All right,
this.
brother. I'll send you that
All
Sonic Gate.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
All right, guys.
man.
Later.
All right.
Take it easy.
Bye.
All right.
Let me wrap this up. That
Yeah,
was
let's
great.
do a little wrap up. Thank you to Andrew Santino popping on the pod. That was fucking great. Thank you guys for listening. Yeah, we get. You know what? We're gonna give you an extra little extra long boy.
Let me piss real quick if we're gonna go longer.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Let's just. It was a long one. I think we did almost 2 hours. So.
Well, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review, obviously, and to subscribe to that Patreon. Patreon.com/pod-don't-lie.
Shouts out to everybody subscribing. We really appreciate it. And we're gonna be back. We'll be back. If you want a bonus episode every week, we're gonna be back Thursday or Friday, I guess. So thank you so much, guys. Can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. Fucking damn! I can't believe it's about next week's the last week. That means it's been 5 weeks, bro. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
that fucking sucks.
Oh, damn. We went to Target yesterday just to like do something.
Yeah,
and,
just to get out.
Obviously wearing the masks and all that stuff, but bought some fucking Nerf guns and shit. We're just trying to have fun in here, man.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm going crazy in this motherfucker. But whatever, man.
Yeah.
While we're here, we got that b-ball content for you motherfuckers. Hopefully the league gets back. But we will be back Friday with a bonus episode. Check out the Patreon. And then we will, of course, be back Tuesday recapping the final episodes of The Last Dance. And we'll have more shit after that, guys. So thank you so much. Stay safe. See you soon.
All right, bye.